Today is a Christmas in July Dollar Tree ornament extravaganza. We're going to be creating ornaments with items from the Dollar Tree, except for one. It's a trash to treasure. Hi everybody, I'm Gwen. Welcome to At Home with Gigi. Let's get started. For this first DIY, we're going to be using this flat ornament from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to start by giving both sides of the ornament a coat of Mod Podge, and I'm doing this to prevent my paint from chipping off. After the Mod Podge is dried, I'm going to use Waverly chalk paint in white and a makeup sponge that I've torn in half, and as you can see I'm just going around and just stippling the paint on. I don't want it to have a nice smooth finished look. I want it to look kind of textured, and I'm going to give it 2 coats and I'm just going to let it dry in between each coat. I'm going to use this gorgeous napkin, and this napkin came from Abril Martinez at Crafter in the Rough, and I'm in a napkin exchange every month and she sent this to me and I just love it. But I am making sure I'm pulling off this back layer, because if you don't, your napkin will not adhere to your surface. Ask me how I know that. And instead of using scissors to cut out the little boots, I'm just using a tiny paintbrush with some water. You do want to be careful that when you're removing the excess napkin that you don't tear your little boots. Just very carefully removing that excess napkin, going back in and dampening the edges when you need to. Then I'm just going to add a layer of Mod Podge to the front of my ornament. And I'm going to line these boots up as best I can. As you can see, I placed it down and then I had to lift it back up and reposition it. And if you're careful, you can do that. Most of the time, not always, so just be careful that you don't tear your napkin. And I like to use a paintbrush and also love to use the plastic wrap. Both work well for me, and I just kind of alternate back and forth between the two with this project. But you do want to just go over and just smooth it out and try to get as much of the air bubbles and wrinkles out as you can. And this is going to be a 2-sided ornament, so I've done the other side as well. But I think these little boots are so stinking cute with the kitten and the little mouse. Thank you so much, Abril, for sending this napkin to me. Now I want my ornament to look like it has snow on it, so I'm mixing together this lightweight spackling. This came from Amazon and Waverly's chalk paint in white, and I just kept mixing it until I got the consistency and texture I wanted. Then I'm just using one of these little Dollar Tree sponges, and I'm just going around just pouncing it around my ornament. Now this is strictly optional. You could have just stopped right after you put the napkin on there and Mod Podged it down. You could have stopped right there, but like I said, I want it to look like it's covered in snow. And I seen this on YouTube, and if I can remember the lady's channel, I will link it down below. But I seen her doing some ornaments and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to try that, and I love it. I think it is so pretty. You're gonna have to tell me what you think at the end. It was a little bit time consuming because I was trying not to get any on my boots. I was trying to get up just as close as I possibly could. I did go back in, as you'll see in a minute, with a little tiny brush and just adding some of that spackling and paint mixture. And by the way, this lightweight spackle, it came from Amazon. It does cost more than what you would pay for the spackling at the Dollar Tree. But it's so worth it. It is a pure white. It doesn't have that grayish tinge that the Dollar Tree spackling has. After it dried completely, I took it outside and I gave it a good spray of the spray Mod Podge, and while it was still wet, I came in and I'm just sprinkling some of this very fine glitter, and that came from Walmart, and I'm just doing both sides. And then it looks like I'm putting a lot, but it's barely any coming out. I think more landed on my table than actually on my ornament. And then I just took it outside, sprayed it again, let it completely dry. And as you can see, I did add a little tiny bow to it and one of these little flowers. And the ribbon and the flower came from it came from Walmart back in their fabric section. But tell me what you think. I love this. I just think it is absolutely beautiful. But would you leave the bow on, or would you do it without the bow? For this ornament, we're going to be using one of these clear plastic balls from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to go ahead and start by filling it with one syringe of polyacrylic. And once you have that in there, you're just going to want to just keep turning it and just turn it and turn it. As you can see, just coating the inside of the ornament. And once I have the inside of the ornament completely coated, you see I have my little cup set up there. I just turn it upside down, let it drain for about 10 minutes or so, just until all the excess polyacrylic has come out before I move on to the next step. And oh yeah, in case you haven't guessed, we're going to be making a glitter ornament, but ours are going to be gingerbread. We're going to make a gingerbread girl and boy, and our gingerbread girl is going to be sort of a glam gingerbread girl. For our gingerbread girl, we're going to be using pink glitter, and this, you can pick this up at your local Walmart, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, wherever. And usually I use about 1.5 tablespoons, but for whatever reason I used about 2 tablespoons on this ornament, and it was just way too much glitter. So just know that if you decide to recreate this, I did reuse the glitter, so no waste. And after you get the glitter in there, I just take my ornament, turn it on its side, and I just keep rotating it until I'm coating the entire inside of the ornament. And I'm just kind of doing it slowly just to make sure it's going to get a really good coating. And I never get tired of seeing this. I absolutely love doing these glitter ornaments. For our boy ornament, we're going to be using this glitter that I mixed together from the Dollar Tree, those little 6-packs that you get. And I'm not sure why I didn't show you mixing it together. I guess I cut it out. Sorry about that. And anyway, I mixed it. They had a really dark color and then a lighter gold. I just mixed them together. Isn't this color gorgeous? I just love it. And I just repeated the exact same process as I did with the girl gingerbread. And to get the glitter at the very top of your ornament, as you can see, I just placed that napkin over the top, give it a little shake, and it just coats it perfectly. After I'm sure the inside of the ornament is coated, I just turn it upside down into a cup and just let that excess glitter drain out, and then I just reuse the glitter in another ornament. For their little faces, we're actually going to be using, as you can see, snowman stickers, and these were bought last year for a project I did and just had some left over, and I thought they were so cute, guys. These things stick so well. I got the mouth a little crooked on my snowman boy and was able to readjust it, and they, like I said, they stick so well. The one that I made last year, it still is stuck, and I did not use any Mod Podge, of course, with it being a clear ornament. We gotta have a little bow tie for our gingerbread boy, and it's a little glittery bow that came from Walmart. You can get them back in their little sewing section. A pack of like 6 or 8, something like that. And I thought it would just work perfect. And then we're just gonna add just a bit of white puffy paint down the sides of his face. And the honey's coming to check out my ornaments and see how they're coming along. And as I said earlier, we're going to make our gingerbread girl kind of glam, and we're going to give her some little fluttery lashes and just make her all cute and adorable. And as I was making this, I was like, this would be so cute as one of those little unicorn ornaments. If I had the time, I would have made one, but I just ran out of time. And I thought it was just so cute. Guys, these stickers are very, very forgiving. You can readjust them and they will stick and just stay in place. We're going to take some of this little pearl wrap, I think is what you call it, from the Dollar Tree, and I've just cut off a strip that's wide enough and long enough to go around the top of the ornament. Now, I didn't use any additional glue to keep this in place because if you've ever used this, you know it's pretty sticky, but if you want, you can always add a little extra hot glue or maybe some E6000, something like that to make sure it's permanently attached, but like I said, I was perfectly happy with how sticky this stuff is already. We just need to glamour up just a little bit more with some ribbon, and I've just simply did the awareness ribbon, tied them off with a pipe cleaner, and what's on top is more of that sticky pearl, but I just pull that there's a thin sticky film on the back of it, and I just pulled that off and just folded it over, popped it on top, and I think she's so cute. And oh yeah, we have to add in a little peppermint just to cover up that pipe cleaner. I think she's just so precious and just so glam. Any little girl would love to have a little ornament like this, and it was so easy to make, y'all. I love making glitter ornaments. And there's my little gingerbread boy. He's adorable as well. I'm so happy to have them as part of my gingerbread tree this year, but it's actually more gingerbread / peppermint, because I don't have a whole lot of gingerbread ornaments. I've just been collecting them the last couple of years, and the few ornaments that I've made this year to add to my tree, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep collecting and keep growing them, and I just think they are super sweet. This DIY is so simple and easy. I'm just using this light bulb shaped ornament from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use a mixture of their faux snow and Epsom salt from Walmart. And I love how this mixture looks together. And then I'm just using some little sprigs of greenery that I had left over. I was going to use the one that's laying on the table as well, but once I put the greenery with the berry in there, I loved how that looked and just left it as it is. And now I'm just adding some Mod Podge to the top of my ornament because I want it to look like it's snow covered. I did make a little boo-boo here. I should have waited on adding the Mod Podge all the way around and just did it as I went because it dried out, but it was okay. I just went in and added more, and I'm just placing the Epsom salt around the top and just kind of patting it in, trying to keep it in place. I did go back with more Mod Podge and kind of seal it in, and I just added in a little bit of glitter just to give it a little extra sparkle, and then I wrapped the top with some of this jute twine and just added a hanger. And it's finished, and I love this. I think it is so beautiful. The video does not do it justice. I wish you could see it in person. It is just beautiful, but you got to tell me what you think. For this ornament, we're going to be using this little chalkboard tag from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just writing the word joy on the front with a paint marker, and also from the Dollar Tree. Now y'all, my handwriting is not the greatest in the world, and I wish I had come down a little bit more, but it is what it is. And then I'm just going to add this little tiny bow that I picked up from Walmart back in their crafts section. You can get a pack of like 4 for a couple of bucks. I thought it was well worth it. And then I'm just going to add some little bits of greenery to the top. I'm also going to add one of these little flowers that came from Walmart again back there in their fabric area. And it's got a little sticky on the back of it, so I didn't even have to hot glue it, and I'm just applying it right to the top of my boat, and that's it. Other than I added a little hanger to it, as you can see, and I think it turned out just absolutely adorable, and it was so fast and so easy. We're going to be making some gingerbread hot cocoa mug ornaments, and I'm using these little wooden ornaments from the Dollar Tree. You get them like a little pack of 6 or 8, And I've mixed together apple barrels, chestnut, and nutmeg and given them 2 coats each. To create the faces for our little gingerbread mugs, I'm going to be using these stickers. Now, my inspiration is those little marshmallow ceramic cups that you get from Amazon. I have them for my tiered tray, so that was my inspiration for the faces here. Now, y'all, I can't draw for nothing in the world, so I'm going to be using these stickers. I've had these for quite some time. I don't even remember where they came from, honestly. So I'm going to be going over the entire gingerbread mug once I've placed all of my stickers, and I'm just going to put a layer of Mod Podge just to make sure these stickers are going to stay in place. And of course our hot cocoa mugs has to have some whipped cream, right? And we're just going to use this white puffy paint from Tulip. Now I'm trying to be careful not to get paint in the little hole that, where we're going to put our string to hang our ornament. But if you wanted, you could always stick a little toothpick there. A couple of them the paint got a little close, so I just used a toothpick and just kind of ran it around inside the hole just to keep it open. I let the first layer of paint dry for a bit, and then I'm going back in and adding another layer, being careful, of course, not to cover up that hole in the center. And while the paint is still wet, I'm going to go in and add my little faux sprinkles to the top of it. And y'all, I bought these when I'm making my little toppers for my mugs and for my little ceramic cups that I was telling you about a few minutes ago for my tiered tray. These little sprinkles are so stinking cute. They came from Amazon. I'll link them below. You get a ton of them. And they have the little gingerbread houses in them, the little gingerbread men, and the little tiny, I don't know if you can see it here on camera, they're so tiny, peppermints, but they are so stinking cute. They are very clingy, so as you can see, I am using my tweezers just to help with my placements. I have finally collected enough gingerbread ornaments to have not a big tree, but a little small tree this year, and I am so excited to add these little mugs to my tree. I can't wait for y'all to see what they look like. I thought that the mugs needed just a little bit of something else, so I decided to outline them with some more of the puffy paint, some more icing, something like that. I did get a little heavy-handed on the one that I'm doing right now. And after I finished, I was like, I don't know if this was a good decision or not. Maybe I should have just left them as they were. I don't know, too late now, right? But tell me what you think. Should I have left them without the quote-unquote icing, or do they look better with the icing? Aren't they just the cutest things ever? I think they are so adorable. I do think I'm going to go back and give the little guy mug some eyebrows to make him look a little more cheerful. And if I have some time, I want to make a few more of these and add them to my tier tray. These last couple of months have just been so challenging for my family, and I have not had much time to craft, and I really have missed it. And I really hope I can get some more of these created in time for my tiered tray. But tell me what you think about these cute little gingerbread mugs. we're going to be making another glitter ball, but we're only going to use one of these balls that came from the Dollar Tree. We're going to use the one that has the red writing on it. And again, I've just used the polyacrylic and just rotating it inside and just making sure the inside of the ball is coated and then letting it sit for like 5 minutes. Now here's where I kind of messed up. Now this size ball, the amount that I'm putting in here, like a tablespoon, a little more, that was perfectly fine. It gave it a really opaque look, and y'all, this never gets old. But I really should have used a full 1.5, maybe even 2 full tablespoons for the larger one. And just see how easy it is. You just keep rotating the ball, and then again, when it gets real close to the top, I just put a napkin over it, shake it really well, and it just coats the very top very, very well. Sorry about the change in the lighting, but it would not show up with the lights bright. And this one, like I said, it really should have used more of the glitter because it didn't give it quite an opaque look. It was more of a sheer, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. It still turned out gorgeous. And all I'm doing with this, I added a little handle to the top, and I'm just adding some of this ribbon. This came from Walmart, and I love it. It is so pretty. It says Merry Christmas on it. And then I'm just going to layer another little small bow that's got my red truck. Y'all know I love a red truck, onto the top of this ribbon from Walmart. Now I decided I wanted to add in a little bit of greenery, so I'm just adding in some little sprigs of greenery. And y'all, this is pretty. It came from Dollar Tree last year, but this fallout, because it's sparkly, is serious. And then I'm just adding that little frosted berry that also came from the Dollar Tree right in the center. And I think this turned out absolutely beautiful. I love it. And it was just very, very easy to make. This would be a great ornament to make if you sell ornaments, and you can get these from the Dollar Tree, because it makes that red writing, the white glitter, just makes it pop. This ornament is going to be a Rudolph ornament, and it's going to be just a fun, silly, very easy ornament. And we're using this clear plastic ball. You can pick these up at the Dollar Tree each year, and I buy extras and just store them away. But anyway, I'm going to be stuffing it full of this decorative thread that's also from the Dollar Tree over in their gift bag section. And if you don't have this on hand or can't find this particular color, you can always use pom-poms or brown glitter, or just put some paint in there, swirl it around, and just do that. And like I said, this is a fun Rudolph, so we're adding some googly eyes to the front. And as you've seen at the beginning, I had a rather large red pom-pom for his nose. It just didn't look right, so I switched it out for a little bit smaller one, and we're going to add that in just a moment. Yeah, this would be such a fun project to do with your kiddos or your grandkids. Maybe not let them use the hot glue gun. You can just use some Elmer's glue instead, or you do the hot glue, or just skip it all together. Now for his antlers, I'm going to be using 2 brown pipe cleaners. I'm just twisting them together there in the center, and then we're going to loop them around the cap. And I forgot to mention that I took the cap outside and give it a spray of Rust-Oleum's brown spray paint, let that dry. That was actually the longest part of this project, y'all. It was just so fast and easy. And it's very inexpensive. I mean, altogether, maybe $2 total in this project if you have everything. If not, it might be just a tad bit more, but you can get everything from the Dollar Tree, except for the spray paint, obviously, but you can just use some brown acrylic paint and paint it if you want to, or just leave it the silver color. Now I want my Rudolph to have some curly antlers. I'm just using a large glue stick, wrapping it around there, just curling them just a little bit. Obviously, you can skip that part as well. Just leave it straight, use a pencil, anything like that. But I think he's just so adorable, and just like I said, this was so fast and easy, and just a great project to do with kids. For this project, we're going to be creating a rather large ornament out of this leftover scrap piece of cardboard and a beautiful napkin. And yes, I know my cardboard is not even there at the top, but this was a trial piece for the new gadget I got a couple of weeks ago, and as a crafter, you know you never throw anything away. So this was my first run at trying to cut a complete circle. Didn't work, I kept it, and so we're going to use it for this project. And I'm going in and giving the piece of cardboard one coat of Waverly chalk paint in Snow White. And if you watch any of my videos, you know anytime I decoupage, I always like to paint my background of whatever I'm going to be decoupaging on. I like it white. To me, it just makes my napkin, tissue, decoupage paper, whatever I'm using, it just makes it pop. Once that was dry, I went in with a coat of Mod Podge, let that dry, and we're going to be using the iron-on method to attach this gorgeous napkin. Isn't this beautiful? Oh, and I'm just showing you I've removed the other 2 plies because this was a 3-ply napkin. Always make sure you remove those extra plies before you start to decoupage. This came from Napkin World, and I got this last year and just never got around to using it, and I thought this would just be the perfect time to use it. And I'm trying to see what would be the best placement. I want to get as much of this beautiful corner on my cardboard round as I can. The iron-on method is my favorite way to decoupage. It gives you such a smooth, clean finish. You just use a sheet of parchment paper on top of your napkin to keep from damaging it. Your iron is on very low heat, and I like to start in the center of my project and just work my way out and then all the way around the edges just to make sure I'm reactivating all of that Mod Podge and that my napkin, tissue, whatever I'm using is going to adhere to that surface. As you'll see in just a second, it is such a perfect clean finish. I absolutely love it. And it's so easy. And I'm just going to hit it with my little finger sander and then just go around and just remove that excess napkin. I'm saving the napkin for another project. You know we crafters never throw anything away, right? Now I'm using a very fine grit sandpaper because I don't want to tear my napkin. And after I finish removing the excess napkin, I did go around the edges of the cardboard and just smoothed out any little scragglies that might have been left over. Now I do want to cover up the rough edges of this cardboard, and I'm going to be using this twine cord, whatever you want to call it. And this came from Walmart. Now I got this last year, so I don't know if they're going to have it again this year. And I learned my lesson here the first go around. I added a little too much hot glue. My fingers stuck to the cord and the cardboard, but no damage, thankfully. So you do want to add just a tiny bit of hot glue as you're making your way around, and this detailing tip on my glue gun works perfect for this. I also, before I started, at the very end of my cord, I put a piece of tape around it before I cut it, and it does help keep your cord from fraying and unraveling on you. And then when I get to the end right here, I just did the same thing. Another piece of tape, scotch tape right there on the ends. I cut it off. Right, I thought I had gotten it pretty close, but it was not quite where I needed it to be, so I just snipped off that excess little tip and then a little more hot glue on the cardboard and the other end of the cord and just kind of tapped it down into place, and it just fit perfectly. Now I do want to cover up where the 2 pieces of cord meet and just where the cardboard is not so perfectly round, and I know it's looking like she got that off center. Well, I did that on purpose because I want the wreath on the napkin to show, and I'm just adding in some little bits and pieces of greenery. I keep all of my scraps in this big bag just for little projects like this, and I want to say that this came from the Dollar Tree. I did not use the 2 pine cones that's laying there on the table. They just didn't quite fit just right, so I did use another one. And as I was going back and I'm editing, I noticed that the pine cone looked awfully dark, so off camera I did hit that with a little bit of white paint just to make it look like it was covered in snow. I am going to continue to just add in more bits and pieces of greenery and a little bit more of the berries just until I fill in any little gaps and holes, or cover up the hot glue, or until you feel that you have embellished it to your heart's content. Then all that's left to do is just add a hanger to the back. I've kind of marked my placement to make sure I get it straight, and adding some hot glue and some more of this cord to match the trim, and I'm going to put a little piece of ribbon over the bottom of the cord there just to give it a nice clean finish. If you are looking for large ornaments to fill in a tree and not have to spend a lot of money, this is the perfect way to do it. This was so easy, so much fun, and the camera is just not doing this beautiful ornament justice. It is so gorgeous, and I cannot wait to use this on my Christmas tree. It won't be this year because I've gone a different route with my decor this year, but next year I'm going back to my big tree, and I cannot wait to use this. And I'm going to be making some more of these because I'm still working with learning how to use my little circular tool. So I am so excited. To make this ornament, you're going to need some of these little metal tags, and then I'm going to be using 3 of these wooden bead rings from the Dollar Tree. I'm only showing you one, and I picked these up during the fall. And I'm going to just remove all that twine, and I believe it's a leaf or something on there. And then I'm also going to go ahead and unhook. There's a piece of wire in there, and it took a little bit of maneuvering, y'all, and a little bit of strength to get that wire open, but I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll move on to the next step. Once the beads were removed from the wire, I went ahead and divided them up, and we're going to give one set a coat of acrylic white paint and real red from Apple Barrel. And isn't it pretty? I love that. And then the other 2, I left those on the wires. They were too hard to remove, and just painted them a solid color. We're going to be using these sweet little metal tags from the Dollar Tree with these gingerbread, and I just love them. But they didn't hang just right, at least in my opinion, with the holes on each end. So I had the honey drill a hole right in the center, and I'm going to use some of this baker's twine from the Dollar Tree to attach them to the ring. They didn't hang much better, y'all, but I'm good with it. I was just going to roll with it. I said they're just sweet and cute. They're ornaments, so they don't have to be perfect, and they're homemade. Isn't it funny how this time of year we all feel like we have to have everything just so perfect? I am so guilty of that. I'm trying to learn how to give myself some grace with that. But anyway, we're just going to add just a tiny bit of super glue to the ends where I've snipped that baker's twine just to keep it from fraying and come unraveled. And I've made just a little tiny bow to go on the top of the bead round, and this is ribbon. I think this came from Walmart. I've had this in my stash for a while. And then to pop in the center, we're just adding one of these little tiny green bells from the Dollar Tree. And I think it is just so super cute. Now this red and white bead round is smaller than the other 2 because the last bead I just could not get it back on there and get the wire to close. So I just chose to move on and just make it a little bit smaller. And for the other 2 rounds, I'm just repeating the exact same process, adding some cute little ribbon to it and a little bell right in the center. And y'all, these are so absolutely adorable. I am loving these. So which one is your favorite? The little girl gingerbread, or Santa gingerbread, or just the little gingerbread boy? I think they are so adorable, and they really were just so easy to make, especially the 2 that I didn't remove from the wire. I just painted the beads on there. They are just really super fast. For this project, I'm going to be using this little picture from a calendar from the Dollar Tree, and as y'all can see, this calendar is from 2021, but you can use whatever picture you might have on hand. And also 5 of the wooden blocks, and those are from the Dollar Tree as well. I'm going to go ahead and give each of the wooden pieces 2 coats of Waverly White chalk paint. And y'all, I am making a miniature ornament because obviously the size of the picture is very tiny, and I love to make miniature ornaments. But you could certainly make this much bigger and use any type of picture, any size picture that you have on hand. You could even use a napkin, decoupage that on there, scrapbook paper, anything like that. But like I said, I love to make miniature ornaments, and obviously it's going to be smaller because the picture is so tiny. I'm going to be using Gorilla Gel Glue to put the wooden pieces together. You can use whatever you might have on hand. I decided not to go with hot glue because sometimes hot glue can leave little gaps in between your wooden pieces, and I wanted it to be as seamless and snug against each other as possible. I do have the clamps out there because just in case it didn't set up as quickly as I wanted, but as you can see, it's just staying together. I never had to use those. And I'm using 3 of the blocks in one direction, as you can see right here, putting them together, and then the other 2 I'm going to glue to the ends. And if that doesn't make sense, you'll see what I'm doing here on the screen. I let the glue set up overnight, and then I'm just going to go in and add a layer of Mod Podge, and while the Mod Podge is still wet, I'm going to place the little square from the calendar on top. And just smooth it out with my finger, and then my little handy dandy plastic wrap, just getting out any excess Mod Podge that might be up under there or any air bubbles. I'm just going to add just a little bit of twine because I like just a little bit of a farmhouse vibe. If this is not your thing, totally skip this part, add some ribbon, whatever you might choose. I felt that the ornament needed some more embellishment, so we're going to add some of these little green sprigs to the top. And I don't know about y'all, but I keep my greenery from year to year in this big old bag, and I got the placement too low, and I just did not like how that corner was sticking up there, so I did go back off camera later and add a 3rd piece of greenery there. And I'm also going to add in some of these little berries just for a little added pop of color. And to give the wreath like a 3-dimensional effect, I'm just adding in some of the little teeny tiny little red berries. I wanted to add just a little bit of distressing around the outer edges, and I'm just using a little piece of a makeup sponge and just a very small amount of antiquing wax from Folk Art, and just going around the outer edges. Now this is strictly optional as always, but this is just something that I wanted to do, and I thought it'd just give it that extra little bump. And all that's left to do is just add a little hanger to the back, and it's finished, y'all. This was just so quick and easy to do. I think this turned out so adorable. It's just such a sweet, easy to make a little DIY. And as I mentioned earlier, you obviously can make it much larger if you prefer. It's a little bit on the rustic farmhouse side, and I absolutely love it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Comment down below and let me know which one is your favorite and if you'll be recreating one. I'd love to see a photo. Send it to my Instagram or my email that's in the description box down below, and I will share it on my YouTube channel. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I will see you soon.